He thought it was just a stolen wallet, but the moment he saw who took it, his entire world froze in shock. Johnson clutched her small bag tightly as she ran down the bustling city street, her tiny feet pounding against the wet pavement. She hadn't meant to take it, but the wallet had slipped from the distracted billionaire's pocket, and fear had driven her instinctively to grab it. Mr. Harrison Whitman, towering and furious, noticed immediately and started chasing her, his polished shoes splashing through puddles. Onlookers gasped and whispered, some assuming the worst about the little girl, some secretly enjoying the spectacle of the rich man being flustered. Aaliyah darted through narrow alleyways, glancing back at the white-haired man yelling and waving his arms, misunderstanding her intentions completely. She had always been careful, observant, and fast, but the city was crowded, and every wrong turn could end badly. Her heart raced as she squeezed past market stalls and startled pedestrians, holding onto the wallet that wasn't hers but had become her shield. Meanwhile, Mr. Whitman's anger was mounting, his face red with embarrassment and outrage as he shouted at security to stop the thief. The little girl's small hands clutched the wallet like it was the most precious thing in the world, not realizing that what she carried would soon reveal a shocking truth no one expected. Security guards joined the chase, barking orders, unaware that this was not a simple act of theft, but a situation that would expose hidden assumptions and test the biases of everyone watching. Aaliyah's mind raced as she tried to think of a way to escape safely, wondering if anyone would believe her if she explained. The streets were crowded, people pointing, cameras capturing the moment, but no one saw what she saw, the wallet itself holding the secret that would silence the wealthy man forever. Every step she took was both desperate and precise, every turn calculated, as the chase continued with suspense building, leaving the audience hanging, eager to know what would happen next. Her small form disappeared briefly behind a corner, leaving Mr. Whitman fuming, unaware that the truth he was about to learn would completely change his perception and leave everyone in awe. Don't forget to comment your thoughts below and subscribe to follow the full story as this suspenseful chase unfolds. Aaliyah Johnson pressed herself against the brick wall of a narrow alley, her small chest heaving, her fingers still clutching the wallet tightly, her wide brown eyes darting between the approaching shadows and the street beyond, knowing she had only seconds to think. Mr. Harrison Whitman stormed past the crowded avenue, his polished shoes slapping against the pavement, his face a mix of rage and disbelief as the city around him seemed to blur in his fury. Security guards followed, shouting and waving radios, but none of them saw what Aaliyah knew. This was not a simple act of theft. This was a moment that would expose truths no one expected. She peeked around the corner, her mind racing as she calculated her next move, aware that every bystander's gaze carried silent judgment, their assumptions about her race and age making her feel both vulnerable and invisible at the same time. Mrs. Whitman, arriving in a sleek car moments later, stepped out elegantly, frowning at the chaos, her pearls clinking softly as she demanded to know why her husband had drawn such attention, her voice cold and precise, yet oblivious to the real danger and unaware that her own household had secrets that were about to unravel. Aaliyah's small hands trembled as she realized the wallet she held was not just a wallet. It contained papers, identification, and evidence of a hidden truth about Mr. Whitman that no one, not even his wife, could have imagined. She slipped into a nearby market, ducking behind stalls and startled pedestrians, her cleverness and caution guiding her steps, every movement calculated to avoid detection, her heart pounding as adrenaline surged through her tiny frame. The crowd murmured, some pointing, some whispering racial assumptions, while security and the wealthy man raced past without noticing the subtle signs that could have revealed the truth much earlier. Marcus, Aaliyah's older brother, appeared suddenly at the edge of the market, calling her name softly but firmly, worry etched across his young face as he tried to understand what had happened, unaware of the full stakes, but ready to protect his little sister at all costs. The suspense built as Mr. Whitman's voice boomed through the narrow streets, demanding justice, calling her a thief, while Aaliyah clutched the wallet that carried secrets capable of silencing his arrogance forever. Her clever escape led her to a small hidden alcove, where she finally stopped to catch her breath, realizing that this chase had already revealed the biases, assumptions, and blind spots of everyone around her, including those who considered themselves above her simply because of wealth or color. Every passerby, every guard, every stranger had made a judgment, but none understood that the little girl they underestimated held the power to unveil truth, confront prejudice, and force a wealthy man to face accountability in ways he had never imagined. The tension was unbearable, the stakes higher than ever, and the audience watching this unfolding drama could feel their hearts racing, waiting for the moment when Mr. Whitman would finally confront what Aaliyah already knew, and the world would see that courage, intelligence, and morality are never determined by age or color. Don't forget to comment below your thoughts on Aaliyah's bravery and subscribe to see the full story unfold, because what comes next will shock everyone and leave you questioning assumptions forever. Aaliyah Johnson crouched behind the corner of a small cafe, her tiny frame trembling not from fear, but from the rush of adrenaline and the weight of knowing she held the truth in her hands, the stolen wallet burning against her chest, every instinct telling her she had to act wisely, because one wrong step could ruin everything she had planned. Mr. Harrison Whitman stormed through the street, his tailored suit crisp, his face red with anger, barking orders at his security team who scrambled to cover every exit, oblivious to the little girl weaving through the crowd, unnoticed because they had underestimated her purely for her size, age, and color. Mrs. Whitman appeared behind him, her elegant heels clicking sharply against the pavement, a faint frown on her face, murmuring that the city would talk, that appearances must be preserved, never suspecting that the very person they were chasing held the key to secrets that could shatter their carefully curated life. Aaliyah's quick brown eyes scanned the streets, noting each security guard's position, the curious bystanders, the blind spots where she could slip safely, her mind a whirlwind of strategy, intuition, and courage, all sharpened by the injustice she had already sensed in this man's arrogance and disregard for anyone beneath his wealth. She darted into a narrow alley, ducking under an awning as a delivery truck rattled past, the noise masking her movements, but the sound of Mr. Whitman's frustrated shouts echoed off the brick walls, making her heart pound even faster, every beat reminding her that time was running out and the secret she carried must be revealed carefully. Marcus, her older brother, had caught up and whispered urgently, "Aaliyah, this way, hurry," his voice steady but filled with worry, his protective presence giving her the courage to keep moving forward, to trust her instincts even as the chaos of the city seemed determined to trap them. As they turned another corner, a group of bystanders stared at them, some murmuring assumptions, some judging silently, their whispers laced with subtle biases that Aaliyah had already learned to navigate, using their ignorance as cover, understanding that people's perceptions often blinded them from seeing the truth. Meanwhile, Mr. Whitman's face twisted with disbelief as he caught glimpses of movement from the corner of his eye, convinced he was close to reclaiming his property, unaware that the wallet contained evidence that would expose a web of lies, secrets, and misjudgments he had relied upon for decades. The tension mounted with every passing second as the city seemed to hold its breath, the chase a test of wit, courage, and morality, and Aaliyah's mind raced faster than her feet, calculating, predicting, always staying 2 steps ahead, knowing that the moment she revealed the truth, every assumption, every whisper, every blink of ignorance would be shattered in an instant. The suspense was unbearable, the stakes higher than ever, and the lesson was clear. Courage is not measured by size, wealth, or age, and truth has the power to silence arrogance forever. Don't forget to comment below how brave Aaliyah is, and subscribe to witness the shocking conclusion in the next chapter that will leave you questioning every assumption you've ever made about people and power. Aaliyah Johnson's small hands clutched the wallet tightly as she ducked behind a fruit stand, her chest heaving with the effort of running, thinking quickly, calculating every possible escape route in the narrow streets of the bustling city. knowing that one wrong move could cost her everything, and yet feeling the quiet power of truth she carried inside her, a strength far greater than her size, age, or the assumptions of those around her. A strength invisible to the world, but undeniable in its effect. Mr. Harrison Whitman stormed down the street, his face a mask of fury, his expensive shoes clicking against the cobblestones, security guards forming a clumsy net around him, their radios crackling with commands, none realizing that their arrogance and underestimation of a small child was about to backfire in ways they could never imagine. Mrs. Whitman appeared, her pearls glinting in the daylight, her eyes scanning for her husband and the supposed thief, her expression a mixture of concern for reputation and silent fear that her carefully curated life could unravel, still completely blind to the courage of the child who had become the center of the storm. Aaliyah darted into a narrow passageway, her worn school uniform brushing against the walls, her large brown eyes catching every reflection, every shadow, every movement, using them as clues, as guides, as warnings, while Marcus whispered from behind, steady and calm, helping her stay one step ahead, proving that sometimes even the smallest heroes have the strongest support. The security team fumbled, tripping over crates and obstacles, their arrogance making them blind to the simplicity of a clever plan executed by an underestimated child. And as Mr. Whitman's frustration peaked, Aaliyah knew it was time to act, time to reveal the truth hidden in the wallet, the truth that would silence entitlement and challenge every biased glance that had ever been thrown her way. She stepped into the open square, holding the wallet high, and the crowd paused, sensing something monumental, their whispers rising in curiosity, in judgment, in anticipation, while Mr. Whitman froze, his entitlement shattered as the evidence of his oversight, his ignorance, and his disregard for others was revealed for all to see. Mrs. Whitman's gasp echoed through the square, her elegance meaningless in the face of exposure, her carefully maintained image crumbling as the truth illuminated every misjudgment, every prejudice, every act of disregard she had ever normalized. Security officers, bystanders, and even passersby stopped in stunned silence, unable to reconcile the child before them with the gravity of what had been revealed, the silent power of morality, intelligence, and courage breaking through wealth and status, leaving everyone, including Mr. Whitman, humbled and speechless, confronted with the undeniable lesson that respect and worth are not determined by age, race, or social standing, but by actions, integrity, and heart. Marcus stepped forward, smiling with pride at his sister, knowing she had not only escaped danger, but also taught a lesson the entire city would remember, a lesson that would ripple through the corridors of power, reverberating louder than any shouted command or furious protest. Aaliyah looked around at the crowd, her small hands steady, her eyes shining with quiet triumph, and in that moment the world paused, aware that she had changed the narrative, silenced arrogance, and proven that true courage comes in the smallest packages. Don't forget to comment below what you think about Aaliyah's bravery. Share this story with everyone who needs to see it, and subscribe to witness more shocking tales of courage, suspense, and truth that will leave you inspired and questioning the world around you.